Eddie Stobart is probably the best known name in the UK haulage industry. This model from Corgi pairs a Scania R420 with a box trailer. The high quality packaging includes a collector card, but there's no unique serial number because this is not a limited edition, it's a special edition, which means that the numbers made are not limited. And that's not surprising given the popularity of the Eddie Stobart brand. Inside the box there's only a couple of parts, that's the box trailer, and of course the Scania tractor unit, and there's also a bag containing a few small parts that have to be fitted to the Scania. As usual for a Corgi model, you have to fit the aerials and the mirrors, and they are preformed parts which you just have to press into holes in the cab. On this particular model, some of the parts are a tight fit so they stay in place nicely, but a couple are rather looser, so you have to be careful that they don't drop out. One option you have if you don't mind permanently altering the model is to glue these parts in place, and it's really a matter of personal preference, bearing in mind that it may alter the resale value of the model if you ever wanted to sell it. There are 4 mirrors to fit on this particular model, and there's no instructions to say where they go, but it's easy enough to work that out. And there's also a couple of aerials that need fitting. Detail of the Scania chassis is simple, the transmission is there, but there are huge rivets used on the tanks. Although the tyres on the wheels are all of the same thin design, the wheels themselves are smart. Up on the roof, the detail includes a couple of nicely rendered Stobart graphics. What is nice though is the paint and graphics on the cab because the Stobart design is very complex, and it's been reproduced well, including the tractor name, which is Jan, and the fleet number. Behind the cab there's an anti-slip walkway, there are plastic Airlines, and the wheel arches are metal. If you want to see large photos of the models being reviewed, then these are available on the CranesEtcTV website. Just hover your mouse over the photos and you'll see that the border lights up, so you can just click the photo and a large one will open up. And that lets you take a closer look at the detail. The underside of the trailer is pretty simple, but the tyres on the wheels look good. The underrun protection structure is plastic with good graphics, and the small wheels look decent. The front of the trailer has got some simple graphics and connection points for the Airlines. And the sides of the box trailer are plastic, but you can't tell that visually, and the quality of the graphics is extremely sharp. At the back the doors have hinges and bolts detailed within the casting, and there are more good graphics including a number plate. So let's try out the Scania on the CranesEtcTV Superhighway. Although it rolls well enough, the review model needed some downward pressure to ground all the wheels and get them to roll. But one plus point on this particular Corgi model is that it does have front wheel steering. It's got a moderate range of movement and it works well enough, but it does mean you can produce more interesting poses when it's on display. The box trailer is also a simple model features wise. The wheels certainly spin freely, and the landing legs have little plastic cams on the end which you can turn, and that means that you can then support the trailer on them if it's not attached to the tractor. It works, but there's not quite enough range of movement because the trailer doesn't sit level on its legs. So let's now mount up the tractor trailer, and you can attach the Airlines to the trailer. You need to stretch the Airlines a bit to get them to reach, and then you need to fiddle with the connector a bit to get it into the holes. If you press it firmly it stays in place, and then you can put the kingpin of the trailer into the fifth wheel of the tractor. And once the connection's made, if you want, you could then tidy up the Airlines to make them hang naturally. Once it's hooked up, you can practice being an Eddie Stobart driver, and that means being nice to other drivers, even if you're not nice. And if you're not nice, we know who you are because we see you driving every day. This is a nice looking truck from Corgi, even if the build quality of the review model wasn't quite up to their usual standards. The paintwork and graphics capture the real truck well, and the working steering means that you can pose it realistically. It's good enough to be recommended.